Hi, guys. Playing a little 80s punk for you by the Plimsolls. But happy Tuesday. Um, so here we go. We are still working within our strategies unit. I was looking at some things this morning and kind of seeing that we're probably going to be working into the strategies unit in this lecture series through this week and early into next week. And then we'll be starting to talk about some other things like superstitions, and hopefully we'll be having another movie watch so that you guys can have some information for our Unit 3 reflection. So anyways, that's to kind of give you a rundown of things probably before break and where we're headed. So yes, it's quarantine week 4. Unfortunately, this is the week that we were supposed to head back into school on Wednesday. That is not happening right now. So we continue to persevere. We continue to have the growth mindset and keep going with this. This week's memes right here are Yanitza and Litzy. Those due by Friday at 11:59. I've kind of starting getting used to this whole online thing. So a few more announcements on our announcement sheet here for week 4. Some congratulations going out to Sally and Finn, some of our seniors, hearing words from their colleges and getting some money, and that's super exciting. So we're really proud of you, Sally and Finn. Happy birthday today to Yanitza. So happy birthday. Hope you are able to do something special, maybe bake something or get on Zoom with some friends, but we're thinking of you. And lastly, we have our quotes of the week from this week's responses from Evie and from Jensen. So take a look at this. All right, let's jump into the quarantine week. So we have our weekly participation. And our weekly participation, it explains it in there, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we're going back to what we did in week 1, and that was our effective effort practice plans. You may have forgotten about it, hopefully not, but I'm asking you to kind of evaluate where you are with that effective effort practice plan. And then I'm offering a little bit of extra credit if you do a video of yourself doing this practice plan. Right here, I have 2 great videos of athletes, one being of Drew Brees, the other being of a U.S. Olympian volleyball player by the name of April, and them kind of showing some effective effort practice planning, not planning, but practicing, one during this quarantine and one prior to this quarantine, but showing how you could do this when you don't need to have to be on the field or a court or a stage to do these things. Okay, so take a look at those videos. They're worth your time, about 5 minutes total. So that's this week's participation. Thank you all for who that participated in last week's participation. Our album covers were fun. I did share some of them with our staff, and they loved it. It gave them a little bit of relief and a fun time for them to look through those. I actually will be sharing Mr. Doan's album cover with you all on Schoology this week, just as a fun thing. So thank you all for doing that. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our lecture for today. So we are talking about strategies. And the very first strategy what we're going to talk about is we are going to talk about positive influence circles. This is a strategy that you aren't really necessarily going to do prior to a competition. This is something that you need to have had instituted before. And a lot of times this is something that you build within your team is the positive influence circle, find your fans. So one of the coolest videos that I have here, I just love this, it's a short video, so I'm going to show it when we're going to watch it together. Yeah! love that video for the fact that you can just see that is genuine excitement for that kid that found out he got into Cornell University. And basically, you want to find people that surround you that can do that for you and you do that for them, that we celebrate our victories, our small victories, our big victories together, and that nobody is displaying a jealousness, that jealousy does nothing for a team, does nothing for a group of friends that truly believe in each other and are truly friends. So finding your positive influence circle, creating that positive influence circle, that's really hard. Sometimes many of you have asked, like, how do I get my team to buy in and things like that? That comes with one, by example, and one, being a leader and saying, this is what we need to be doing. And over time, people will start to accept it. Even your most stubborn of teammates will start to understand, or if they're the only odd man out that's kind of resentful about other people's successes, then they kind of move, they distance themselves naturally. So finding your positive influence circle. I want to show you two pictures, okay? Obviously, I have a little bias with this team. This is the Stanford women's basketball team. And I want to show you these two pictures, and I want you to notice any huge differences, okay? And the reason I titled this slide The Difference is because it is what makes a difference in a team. So the first picture is just what the Stanford basketball girls team does when they play. Doesn't matter if the game is if they're winning by 40 something points or they're losing by 40 something points, which they don't do very often because they're a good team. And I don't mean just fundamentally like skills basketball wise. I mean, they're a good team. They work together, they support each other, and that support lifts their confidence. This was just a regular game. I think they were up by 15 or so points. You can see people are off the bench. They're clapping about something that's happened on the floor, that, they're not sitting back. Everybody is involved in the game. They're ready. They're mentally prepared if they have to go in. And then this one right here, this is a game-winning shot, literally a game-winning 3-point shot at the last second to win the game by 1 point. There's not a huge difference. You can tell slightly a difference here because they're about ready to pile up on the shooter here, but there's not a huge difference here, okay? That is the difference between a good team and a great team. Those that support each other, no matter whether the chips are down or they're winning by, 40 points, okay? So that's finding your circle. And I think this really kind of hit me when I saw it. Pay close attention to the people who don't clap when you win. They aren't your circle. And they obviously are dealing with things themselves that they can't celebrate you, whether that be jealousy, whether that be anger or issues that they can't see the good that's happening around them. They're so stuck within their own self that they can't help celebrate others' victories. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. It is definitely something, it is a hard thing to do, but kicking out the toxic people in your life will make a world of a difference. Likely, you'll miss them, you'll miss their company, but you will not miss their negativity or their constant belittling of you, or even if it's not verbally belittling, it's the inability to clap when you're happy. So that is a huge strategy, is find your support system, find your circle. Our seventh strategy is PMR, what we call progressive muscle relaxation. It is a very physical strategy in terms of it's not so much just a mental strategy, it's a physical strategy. So PMR takes us back to that whole idea of our nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system. Remember, it's our sympathetic nervous system that makes us feel nervous. It gets us to get sweaty. It makes our tummy start to churn. It makes us, our heartbeat go up, our breathing rate go up. Okay, keep that in mind. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the one that slowed us down. Remember, I always I always refer to it as a parachute. It brings us down slowly from that sympathetic nervous system state. So what progressive muscle relaxation is it's your ability to control and take over your sympathetic nervous system and teach it to chill out to parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. We don't normally control those things. We have a hard time controlling those autonomic responses. So what progressive muscle relaxation does is it relaxes you if you're that type of athlete that gets over anxious and gets all those really crazy sympathetic nervous system feelings before a competition. Except you can't just do PMR, progressive muscle relaxation, just in those times. You have to practice it just like you practice your game. Okay. So let's talk about what progressive muscle relaxation is. And we're actually going to do it. So what you do is we're going to override our sympathetic nervous system by kicking in the sympathetic nervous system. I know it sounds a little weird. So the first thing we're going to do is take 3 deep breaths. Now, I'm going to add to this deep breath idea here. Okay. I'm going to jump just a little ahead. I like to do what's called square breathing. Square breathing is a way that I get myself to chill out and calm down. It's another strategy. You can use square breathing alone, or you can use square breathing within a PMR. Okay. So what I mean by square breathing is take a look at this little box. First, for square breathing, we're going to take in a big inhale for 4 seconds. They say 4 seconds. I do about 3. Okay. So we're going to take a big breath in. And then we're going to let it out for 4 seconds. And then a big breath in. And let it out. That's my square breathing. This square breathing is inhale big in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale, and rest. Okay. I do the square as in inhale on this top portion of the box, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay. I usually do that for 3 full boxes. So I'm just going. And then I'm going to do that 2 more times. Okay. It's a good way to just kind of center yourself, get your breathing going. A lot of times when we're in that sympathetic nervous state, we start to get almost in a hyperventilation type of mode, or our breathing increases and we're not in control. Remember, we're taking control. Okay. So then PMR, I start off by taking in those deep breaths. Now, the very first time I ever do PMR, I'm not doing it before competition. I'm doing PMR for about 2 weeks prior as just practice. I could do this maybe when I'm going to start to sit down and watch a Netflix show. Or maybe what I recommend is doing it right before I go to sleep each night. Okay. The reason I like to do it before you go to sleep each night is when you go to sleep, you're really rested, right? You're like really calm that you're going to go to sleep. Well, if you train your body to PMR right before you go to sleep, now imagine if I'm super stoked. I'm at the starting line at the track meet. My body is super sweaty. I'm nervous. I'm really scared. I'm afraid that I'm not going to do good. So I start to PMR, and that's when my body was used to going to sleep. Now I'm going to be able to calm myself enough. Remember, we don't want to calm ourselves too much, but calm myself enough that I'm in control again. Okay. And that way my parasympathetic nervous system starts to kick in a little bit so that I'm not in that over anxious side of that inverted U. Okay. So take in my breaths. I squeeze my feet for 5 seconds. Okay. So when I mean squeeze your feet is like in your shoes or just in your socks, like squeeze, curl your toes really tight. So you do that for 5 seconds. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let go. When you let go, your feet feel really relaxed, right? So you do that. Squeeze your feet for 5 seconds and relax. I do this for 2 reps of each thing. So I'm going to do my feet again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let go. Okay. Then I'm going to move on to my legs. So if I'm laying in bed, this is a lot easier than if I'm sitting, but I'm going to just really tighten my hamstrings, okay, and point my toes so my calves are extended. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And then I'm going to do that again, 2 reps of each. And then I'm going to do it with my stomach. I'm going to squeeze my stomach really tight as if I'm getting some serious abs, okay? And so, sorry, I don't know if I'm getting a phone call. And so squeeze my abs for 5 seconds and then relax. And then do it again. Then I'm going to do my shoulders for 5 seconds and let go. Shoulders again and let go. Then I'm going to do my arms. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze my biceps and my triceps. 5 seconds and let go. Triceps and biceps and let go. Okay. Then they say try to do your whole body at once. All right. So you're just whole body, 5 seconds and let go. And this is what it looks crazy. If you're doing it out like right before a meet and stuff like that, maybe you're not doing all the like whole body thing, but you're squeezing those legs, and I can do that. Okay, I can do those things without looking like I'm straining. And then I take 3 deep breaths. This is PMR. It is a technique used by many athletes. They use it prior to their competitions because they practice it. They know how to get their body to calm down, and it is a very effective physical strategy that you can use. I've included in this week in our Schoology tab, I've included in this week, in case you are interested, let me go back here, and in Monday's folder, I put in some instructions there. The instructions are a little bit more detailed than what I just gave you there, but if it is a strategy that you're interested in, take a look at those instructions. I don't have an assignment based off of it, okay? But with that said, that's it. So just today's lecture, your participation points, and remember, we have that DICE assignment of those positive self-talk statements and those neutral statements, okay? So coming up with some of those motivational statements and those instructional statements. All right, guys, I believe that is it. So no homework. Hopefully that you have found this lecture helpful. I know some of you may be skipping over the lectures. I appreciate if you guys make sure to watch these lectures. They will be helpful to you. All right, guys, have a wonderful Tuesday.